Welcome to Best Atari 2600 Reviews by Classic Game Room, a collection of some of my favorite 2600 reviews that I've produced over the years, like Omega Race, Mountain King, Moto Rodeo, Taz, Fathom, Dolphin, and more. What, you've never played Atari 2600? It's the game system that I grew up with. With wood grain, more games, more fun. Let's take a look at the Atari Video Computer System, otherwise known as the 2600. Only Atari can bring this kind of cheer for promotional use only. It's my special Atari 2600. Let's open this up and take a look. A genuine Atari 2600 power adapter. You can practically smell the 1970s, which, in my opinion, smells like a combination of victory and cigarette smoke. I record most of my reviews using an Atari 2600 Junior, but I keep this one for display purposes. A beautiful wood-grained 4-switch video computer system. Let's kick this off with my review of Xenophobe for the Atari 2600 right after reading an issue of Atari Force. Because Atari Force never loses. Look at that hair. It always wins.
Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything.
Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I'm about to review one of my favorite arcade games on one of my favorite game systems. It's Xenophobe for Atari 2600. It's not just a bug hunt, it's a bug hunt on Atari. You secure that shit! This is what I call elevator action. Based on the 1987 arcade machine, this is Xenophobe for the Atari 2600 from 1990, one of the later Atari 2600 releases. It's such a sad sounding game. It's not a bad game. It just sounds terrible. Ow. And I was really excited when this arrived in the mail because I was curious about how Xenophobe would play on the 2600. It's a fairly complex game, and while it's not great, it is better than I expected. Except for the music. The music in Xenophobe on 2600 is like sulfuric acid for the ears. But surprisingly, they managed to make the game play like Xenophobe, sort of. As much as it can on the Atari 2600. Now, as you can see, this one delivers the 2-player simultaneous gameplay option. The original arcade machine actually had 3-player gameplay, so invite a friend and you can suffer through the music together on your 2600. It's not a great game, and by 1990 you should have owned a Sega Genesis already. But it's fairly interesting, at least not as much fun as the NES version or 7800 though. What you do in Xenophobe is pretty simple. It's not a very complex game. You shoot all of the aliens on the space station until you've killed enough that it lets you live. It's just that simple. The real draw to Xenophobe is that it looked like aliens, and it had that cool 3-player split-screen gameplay option. Beyond that, it's not a great game, it's just likable, and of course I have a very fond memory of it. That is some banging music right there. I used to play Xenophobe and Rolling Thunder at Hill's department store. Hill's had Xenophobe, Rolling Thunder. At one point they had Outrun and Operation Wolf. I think I've talked about all these on the show before, but that's why I like Xenophobe so much. Because of Hill's. Hills is where the toys were. I don't think they're around anymore. What was better, Hills or Zare? Hills by a mile. I vaguely remember going in there and just seeing like stacks of Atari Jaguars and TurboGrafx 16 game systems that nobody was buying.
Nostalgia. I love the little intro scenes where the ship drops you off at each of the space stations. Make sure to immediately collect some kind of a weapon. You're not going to get very far in this game without one of the more powerful laser guns. You can destroy the rolling things with the grenades. But you have to admit, this one isn't bad looking at all for a 2600 release. It's pretty advanced.
Let's invade the Death Star!
Look at that, they got a big screen TV. So they can watch Aliens, not that this movie has anything to do with it. Oh, what the hell? Nobody likes you. I love the background details on the Atari. Just make sure to shoot as many of those small aliens as you can quickly before they turn into the big ones. Because when they hit you, they'll take your lasers, and then you're done quickly.
Going up? Yes.
All you're left with at that point is harsh language.
Just in case you're confused about what game you're playing, it reminds you. How nice of it. That's what we should have on the show someday, is a defunct department store showdown. Hills versus Zare versus Ames.
When they do break your laser, all you're left with is your fist, so you can punch aliens that have sulfuric acid for blood. I recommend just running away.
Oh, it broke my gun, dick. I will punch you and you will like it. Toothbrush!
You collect things to score some bonus points at the end of each round. You can't actually stab things with the toothbrush.
Laser!
In the game.
Oh, the good one. Yeah, when you're fighting aliens, that's the thing you want. And harsh language. Harsh language also works very well, so I'm told.
Xenophobe! I love the box art for this. I'm not sure if they ever got sued for that or not. It looks so similar to that other movie. And I've got a giant intergalactic classic game room shout out and thank you going to my friend Eric from Pasadena, California. Once again, thank you for sending this unopened in the box to the show. Where did you find it?
Game over, man! It's game over! It is for you, dumbass aliens. And they really needed to work on their music. Oops, that's a Sega controller. It just jumped out of my hand. It was so excited. Woo! Take me away from this horrible place. Send me somewhere else even more horrible. That is some very sad music. Like, I'm depressed just listening to that. You win! Toothbrush, bowling ball. Syringe. Toothbrush, bowling ball, and syringe. We are all set for the weekend. Oh, aliens! Ah. That was fun. Let's go back downstairs. It's like shopping at Sears. Where's the toy department? With Atari games. Or were those in electronics? You know, I forget. It's not the Death Star. This time we're on Starkiller Base. It's very different.
Very different. Because the movie says it is. Double dumbass on you, aliens. I'm coming to get you. With my mighty fist. And it's hot down here. But it's a dry heat. Toothbrush. You know what? I love the cornbread. It's like the Borg ship. I don't want to invade the Borg. No, turn around. Unless 7 of 9 is there, in which case it's okay. Ooh, going down to the 4th floor on this one. That's where they sell the ladies' lingerie. I didn't find anything to wear. Nothing was in my size. Going back up to 3. Whoa! Ow, you idiot! Isn't it bad enough that we were eaten by aliens? We don't need to listen to that music too. It's Classic Game Room, where it's always time to get your 1981 on with some Freeway from Activision for your Atari 2600. The question is not, why did the chicken cross the road? A better question is, how did the chicken cross the road without being squashed by oncoming traffic? A question answered in Activision's 1981 game, Freeway, for the Atari 2600. We already know why the chicken is crossing the road. There's a sale on McChicken sandwiches on the other side. These are cannibal chickens. Also, they're competing for a high score. Never give up, never chicken surrender.
I don't think that's how it goes.
That's exactly how it goes.
I don't know about that.
This is a very straightforward game, kind of like Frogger, except you can't move left or right or drown. They only move forwards and backwards, proving once again that frogs are smarter than chickens, but chickens can swim. And you would see that if there was water in this game, but there isn't, only freeways and death. Freeway is conceived and designed by David Crane for enjoyment on your Atari video computer system. Run, yes! And enjoyable it is.
No.
That's just embarrassing for you.
I don't know if that's embarrassing.
Whoever gets the high score in about 2 minutes or so wins.
It's
a comeback!
I don't know.
That's Freeway. A great two-player game. Not so much fun single player. But two-player is a blast.
Yes.
There we go. These days, younger viewers may know Activision only as the publisher of games like Call of Duty and Skylanders, but back in the 80s, they were the kings of Atari 2600 programming. Booyah!
Go! Yes!
And while Freeway isn't one of their fancier titles, it looks great. They always made good use of the limited Atari 2600 hardware. The cars look good, the action is smooth, and the chickens look like chickens. However, there is no online multiplayer or global leaderboards. I'm such a badass chicken, traffic moves for me. There's 8 different game modes, which mixes up the traffic patterns and the speeds. There's 2 modes of difficulty. The easier setting will just back your chicken up, and the hard setting just flat out squashes your chicken each time you get hit. After playing Brandon for several games and crushing him without mercy, he thought there was a conspiracy against the player on the right side of the screen, so just to prove him wrong, we switched sides. Let's trade sides and see if the left is actually easier. I think you're just worse.
I don't think so.
We'll find out scientifically.
Maybe it's that controller.
Same thing.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Of course, we immediately forgot which chicken we were controlling and got squashed, but this game's great competition, tons of fun. Freeway is relatively easy to find, it's cheap, and you can get it on the Activision anthology that they put out a couple of years ago. This game was sent to the show by Justin from Greenville, Rhode Island.
Crazy chicken-ass skills right there.
I keep forgetting that's a state. I thought we sold it to Canada years ago. Anyway, thanks to Justin because Freeway is great. And it's always fun to crush Brandon at old school games. Even though he still technically has the high score on Frenzy.
Oh, I got flattened again. Oh, this game is mean.
Yes!
So thanks again, Justin. It's Freeway, it's tons of fun. Highly recommended for your Atari 2600.
You flipped the switch or
I am
something.
absolutely crushing you on the right side, which means you're just not good.
Pretty good.
Not in this game. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Fathom on the Atari 2600, a game that allows you to play as a dolphin and a seagull. What were they smoking at Imagic? It's amazing.
Imagic. If there was any place to work in the 80s, I choose to believe it was Imagic. The same people who brought us Cosmic Arc, Atlantis, Dragonfire, Solar Storm, and Demon Attack managed to cobble together one of the most ambitious and bizarre Atari 2600 games that I've ever played. Fathom. That's right, little dolphin. After collecting the seahorses and eating the golden star, it's time to transform into a bird and fly into the heavens. I love this game. It's like Echo the Dolphin meets a 64-ounce bottle of absinthe. Whoa, after eating the pink clouds, we're one step away from building the giant fork that we'll use to eat the mermaid. And you thought I was making that up. Hey, Imagic, the vending machine's out of peyote again. I know, the developers used it all this morning. How'd they fit so much crazy-ass crap into one Atari cartridge? Alright, so let me attempt to explain this game to you. It's somewhat abstract, like a lot of other Atari games back in the day that were trying new and interesting things.
Bird's been dissolved.
Basically, you start off as a dolphin and collect seahorses until you get the little bird symbol on the bottom of the screen. Then, transform into a whatever that is, Atari bird. Carefully make your way past the magic volcano. Do not hit the lava, it does not react well with birds. Then, fly into the sky and eat the pink clouds until you find the magic star. Got it? It's about as strange as it sounds, but oddly compelling. It's actually hard to put this game down once you start playing it.
Yay! She's safe! Look, there's a little heart. This dolphin got some tail. It's terrible.
While it may not have been clear from the editing, there's like 3 stars in each round, I think. Also, I'm not entirely sure if I'm playing this game correctly. I read some stuff online, so I think I am. But really, who can say? You're a transforming dolphin, this game's got it where it counts. There's stars hidden throughout each round in different screens, and the area that you can explore expands each time you save and or eat the mermaid. Look, there's hearts. Does that mean that you love the mermaid, or that she makes a delicious sandwich? I don't know, you're collecting a giant fork. Maybe it's a trident, but you can still eat a mermaid with a trident.
Oh, I can't transform back into bird. Oh, no. I've been blocked by science.
I'm still figuring this out, but you have to play the game in a certain way each time. You can't free the mermaid until you get the fork, and you can't get the fork unless you transform into a bird. So you have to eat enough seahorses to unlock bird powers, and then explore the sky until you find the stars, which I think are in the same location each time you play the game. But you've got to watch out for the enemies or you'll lose your life force or whatever that is on the bottom of the screen. This is a very difficult game to describe. Carefully make your way past the volcano. Each round unlocks new levels beyond. Oh, one more thing. After you've eaten enough clouds and seahorses, eventually the clouds turn gray, which is bad.
Is there anybody who worked at Magic that was not stoned out of their mind?
I think you're scored by your remaining health, so you want to hustle. It's just an interesting game, one that is so worth playing if you love the Atari 2600. Sure, there's more playable games like Yar's Revenge, Berserk, Ms. Pac-Man, they're awesome, but why not try something totally different? Fathom feels somewhat incomplete. It's often frustrating once you get into it. And you're not sure where the magic hidden stars are, so you run out of health, and then it's easy to get stuck underwater as a dolphin, unable to transform into a bird because you've already eaten all the seahorses. Fathom is colorful. I think the animations look really good. And while it's all basically the same thing with different colors, it gives you the feeling of exploration. They've done a nice job with all of this, and it plays fairly well. You gotta hit the button to flap your wings. It's kinda like Joust.
This is the part of the game where the dolphin ends up in SeaWorld.
You keep going deeper each round, too, and the colors help to convey that. It's really cool. It's Fathom! I've had this game in my collection forever. I never figured out how to actually play it as a kid. This year I sat down, and now I'm still somewhat confused, except I really like it.
Oh, Magic. You were magical. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Smurf Rescue in Gargamel's Castle for the Atari 2600.
Smurf all day, Smurf all night. It's Smurf Rescue in Gargamel's Castle from 1982 for your Atari 2600. The Smurfs. You know, I wasn't expecting much from this game, and while I can't say it's really good, it's definitely Smurfing better than I thought it would be. Here's what you do. You make your way through several levels and then rescue Smurfette from Gargamel's castle. That's right. Your DTS. Down to Smurf.
Yeah! It's like Krull, except with Smurfs. More color. Ow.
Your reward is that you get to Smurf Smurfette's brains out all night long with 12 inches of Smurf. Smurf is a very innocent term. These are for children after all. Where was your mind? In the gutter, no doubt. Precisely where it should be. Which is why it's always fun to talk about Smurfs. Well, they used Smurf for like everything on the show, right? I never really watched it all that much because, well, Smurfs aren't G.I. Joe, so, why would I bother? And I've got a thing for hot 80s cartoon babes, and Smurfette just, she never really did it for me. For starters, she's the only girl in that village, right? Also, she's just not in the Tila Baroness League.
Oh yeah. We can't show that to the kids, sorry, that's indecent.
Regardless, you're still saving her from Gargamel, who no doubt has nefarious plans for her, probably in a stew. What was Gargamel's objective? Was it to kill all of the Smurfs and raise their village from the land, or to eat them in soup? I don't remember. I never really watched Smurfs all that much. Not just because of the lack of hot G.I. Joe babes, but because it also wasn't G.I. Joe. Smurfs are actually Belgian, but it was a big 80s cartoon in the US, but not a big 80s cartoon for me.
Is that Smurf blood? Like, I think he's bleeding.
It's such a sad rendition of the Smurf theme song, isn't it? Like, it's just a little bit off key. This is actually a somewhat competent game for the Atari 2600. It plays pretty well for what it is. You simply avoid obstacles on your way to Gargamel's castle. Pushing up on the joystick jumps. Pushing up or jumping twice makes him jump higher. Smurfinade! Smurf you, Spider! Is that the same Spider from Kroll? This game kind of reminds me of Kroll, except not as good.
Got some smurfing skills.
There's a couple difficulty settings, and after you complete each level, it just gets faster, and that's really the only thing that changes. The speed increases to the point where no human being could actually play it. Maybe this game is made for Smurfs.
She's a good smurf.
Actually, it's probably just made for children, but odds are they'll get bored with it quickly and go back to playing Minecraft.
Smurf you!
For the Atari collectors, it's nothing spectacular, kind of amusing. I think this one is a bit more technically competent than it may appear. Woo! And it plays fairly well once you get into it. It just eventually gets so fast that you can't play it anymore, and there's not a whole lot of fun there.
There's a smurf waiting for me at the end of this adventure.
This one is kind of neat from the standpoint that it plays fairly well, better than I expected it to, for sure, but the reality is you're better off playing Yours Revenge or any number of other better Atari games. Unless you're Smurf superfan number 1, in which case I'll recommend you play Kroll for the Atari 2600, because it's Smurfing better.
That's right, I'm coming to get you! Oh man, Gargamel is such a smurfing bitch. Smurf! Ah, shit.
If you're an avid fan of the Atari 2600, just like Atari fanboy Mark, then odds are you've enjoyed River Raid. Activision's explosive 1982 classic is one of the best Atari 2600 games ever. How could they possibly try to recreate the magic of River Raid? Who dares make a sequel to this game? Well, apparently, Activision did in 1988. It's River Raid 2. The balls on this game, this is like Rambo 3. It's not better than Rambo, it just has some cool stuff, like the part where he cauterizes his own wound and shoots down helicopters with a bow and arrow. River Raid 2 isn't better than River Raid, it just adds lots of cool new stuff. Like altitude-controlled bombing, shooting down airplanes and helicopters with machine guns or laser beams, I'm not sure which, in-air refueling, and landing on an aircraft carrier. River Raid 2 is a far more complex and challenging game than the first River Raid. It's not quite as approachable. It doesn't have the immediate fun factor, but once you get into it, it's dynamite. And yet another example where Activision proves itself the king of making Atari 2600 games. I wish they still did. The yellow planes are tankers. They will refuel you, so don't shoot them. You need fuel, especially during the river raiding sequences where there's very little fuel. The object is to fly through each mission and land on the aircraft carrier before you're out of gas and crash into the ocean, exploding while quoting Top Gun. You also score some bonus points for fuel remaining, but really you score the big points when bombing aircraft carriers and ground targets. However, that slows you down. Like the first game, you've got to keep one eye on the fuel gauge and the other eye, or eyes depending on how many you have, on the enemies. Since the Atari 2600 controller only has one button, pulling back on your joystick or gamepad while firing will drop bombs, leaving it alone or pushing forwards will shoot lasers or machine guns, or magic arrows, really who can say. This is Atari land. Using your imagination, anything is possible. Except you're still going to explode if you run into something. Keep an eye on your altitude bar, especially during the river sequences. It's easy to forget about that, and you'll go a little faster to save fuel, but then just fly into the green area and explode. It's blinking red if it's alarming. Except by the time you see it, you're usually dead. Also, running out of fuel is bad for you. I love the give and take in River Raid 2. Do you fly fast and just try to get onto the aircraft carrier, or go slow and score as many points as possible? You gotta find a happy medium. And what makes me happy is blowing up aircraft carriers while dodging the air targets. They're not worth many points, and they're unpredictable. When the coast is clear, fly as quickly as possible, avoid the flak, and landing on the aircraft carrier is pretty easy. This isn't Top Gun on the NES. You just center your plane, push down when you're over the aircraft carrier, and easily land. I'm sure that it's just like real life. I think River Raid 2 plays really well, especially with a Sega Genesis gamepad. The controls can be tricky. I found that 9 times out of 10 when I was trying to shoot down an airplane or helicopter, I would pull back to slow down and inadvertently drop a bomb instead of launching magic arrows. Also, you'll want to avoid the flak, and it's just a great game. One of the best on the Atari 2600, I think. Maybe not as good as River Raid, but that's my opinion. Like Rambo 3, many of you may prefer it to the original. Woo! Even though Rambo was also a sequel, but you know what I'm saying.
Zone of danger! Kenny, Loggins!
It's never a bad time to sing the Kenny Loggins song. River Raid 2. There's 2 difficulty settings. One of them launches homing missiles, but real pilots prefer magic arrows.
Kenny Loggins! Kenny Loggins!
Finished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything.
Welcome to Classic Game Room time. Do you like monster trucks? Do you enjoy crushing things with said monster trucks? Do you love Atari 2600? If so, then I've got the game for you. It's Moto Rodeo for Atari 2600. Sunday!
Or any day really is a good day for Moto Rodeo on your Atari 2600. This is another late 1990 release for the 2600 when you should have been busy playing Altered Beast on your Sega Genesis. Perhaps you were keeping it real playing Moto Rodeo on your 2600 because it's the biggest thing on wheels. It's also another one of these games which is difficult to record because of the interlacing. Your truck has 4 wheels, not 2, which you'll see momentarily in a different shot. Moto Rodeo is an interesting and ambitious game for the 2600. It kinda reminds me of Tony Hawk Pro Skater with monster trucks. Which sounds like an incredible thing, and you know it. The only people who don't like monster trucks are the people being crushed by them. Woo! Everyone else loves monster trucks, and why wouldn't you? They're awesome.
Do we go truck with tires or truck with tracks? I don't even think that's a question. When the choice is between tires or tank treads, you go tank treads.
I can't remember the name of it, but they had that toy back in the 80s which was a monster truck that actually had claws that came out of the wheel. That may have been Bigfoot, I don't know, but that pretty much sums up everything that men want in a vehicle. And this game tries to capture that, and for an Atari 2600 release, it's not bad. I like the split-screen gameplay, which is a lot like Xenophobe, the Atari game I reviewed right before this. Both of these were sent to the show by my friend Eric in Pasadena, California. Thank you, Eric. This one is fascinating, and I love that they were still releasing Atari games by 1990. I mean, they're still making them now, but that's only because so many of us just refuse to grow up. And why would you when you can have so much fun playing Atari games like this? The object is to score more points than your human or computer opponent, and then back over them. You score points in a variety of ways. Landing your truck upright or flat will get you 5 points. Hitting a wall gets you 10. Crushing a car will get you 20. Bouncing off the platforms, 25. Jumping onto a collapsing ramp gives you 25. Touching the 50 on the screen gives you 50. Finishing the track first gets you 100. And crashing into the crowd and exploding gets you 10,000. I made that one up.
Spin! Roll, crush the car! Get to 50! Bounce, spin, crush.
You have 4 vehicles to choose from: a pickup truck with monster tires, a truck with monster tires, a pickup with tank treads, and a truck with tank treads. Like a Suburban with tank treads, which, that sounds wonderful, actually. I want one of those. If I had a Suburban with tank treads, I would never have to wait in traffic jams. All they really need to do to complete this game is put guns on top of them. As it is, Moto Rodeo is good, simple fun. Obviously, it's best enjoyed against a human opponent so you can yell at each other. And kids listening, no, this does not play online. Unless you have Atari 2600 Live, which requires at least a 2400 baud modem.
Yeah! Get to 50. Crush the car. Yes! This game is such a good, simple, guilty pleasure kind of game. I'm crushing things with a monster truck. This is what I like to do.
Don't forget you have a nitro boost, but winning the race is not your priority. Crushing everything and scoring all of the points is. You make your way through the mud by wobbling your joystick back and forth, or your D-pad if you're playing with a Sega Genesis controller like I am.
Oh man! I'm having fun today! Get the nitro! No! Crush!
Moto Rodeo makes a great addition to your Atari 2600 collection. It's just tons of fun, and the fact that it exists and was released in 1990 makes it even more special. Also, did you catch the Atari logo on the truck, on the cover? I mean, it's hard to miss, but what they should have done is put a Nintendo logo on the car that it is crushing.
You know what I need to play? Is Bigfoot for the NES. I don't think I have that one yet. I just bought Knight Rider the other weekend, but I should also get Bigfoot. I don't think they had it.
Sure, Bigfoot might be on the NES, but Moto Rodeo is an Atari 2600 exclusive. It looks great on the shelf, it'll impress your friends, and it's an easy game to pick up and play. Thanks again to Eric from Pasadena for sending this into outer space. It's Moto Rodeo. Highly recommended.
Crush the car! Yeah! 50 points! And we win the race! Woo! Except now I have to wait for this guy to finish to see how much I've destroyed him by. He's doing a very poor job. Just give up. I am 100 points ahead. Uh-oh. Now he's starting to catch up. There needs to be a button to destroy my opponent before he wins. Oh, look at that, I found it. I am victorious. The TV doesn't lie.
It may sound like the world's most annoying game, but 1983's Dolphin for the Atari 2600 is quite clever. Like a dolphin. Its brain is big, so that it can avoid being turned into a delicious sandwich. The question is, can you? Is your brain bigger than a dolphin's? Are you smarter than a turtle? There's no turtles in this game, but there is a giant squid that you can kill after touching the magic seagull. That's right, it's Atari 2600 time. Back in the days when they could make video games about pretty much anything, Dolphin requires you to use your ears as well as your human fingers unless you have flippers. Perhaps you figured out how to play this game by watching the footage. Listen carefully. For the tunes that indicate where the holes in the wall of seahorses are. Wall of Seahorses, yet another excellent heavy metal band yet to be invented. I wasn't sure what to make of Dolphin at first until I spent some time with the game and found it quite enjoyable as well as innovative. It's not immediately apparent how to play this game, but the really high-pitched tune indicates there's a hole at the top, the low-pitched tune indicates a hole at the bottom, and there's several in between. So if you have a good ear for music, you'll probably be pretty good at Dolphin. The directional arrows indicate the current, and if you can catch one of those, you score some bonus points. Also, you can use them to switch directions and try to avoid the squid. There's a different indicator letting you know when the magic seagull is about to fly by. Jump in the air and touch it to turn the tables on on the evil squid. The squid is not magic. The squid is evil. The seagull is magic. That's how this works. It's like the prequel to Echo the Dolphin, except not at all. Like most of the Activision games from the era, the visuals are really nice. I like the water effects. At the top of the screen, the ripples in the ocean are serene and tranquil, setting the stage for your dolphin to be eaten by a giant squid. Ha! Stupid squid! Blinky Dolphin means death for you. Blinky Dolphin means death. Yet another great heavy metal band, right up there with Stop Eating Slugs. Now, if only I could actually play guitar. I'm not good at that, but I found that after a while I did get pretty good at playing Dolphin once you figure out which tune indicates a hole in the wall of seahorses. This is a fun game, and you can find it out there for next to nothing. Doesn't cost very much, and it's a nice break from the ordinary on your Atari 2600. If you're looking for something different, a real crowd pleaser, actually once you get your friends into this one, check out Dolphin. There's several difficulty settings, and I'm playing this with the mighty Sega Genesis controller, which works the best when you have flippers, by the way. Which I do. I'm not sure I've ever told you that, but I actually have flippers. And a blowhole. Additionally, I'm magical, and so is this game, Dolphin. Highly recommended for your Atari 2600.
Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Taz on Atari 2600 from 1983. Did you know there was a Tasmanian Devil game on the Atari? Did you know it's good? It might surprise you. Let's check it out. Taz from 1983. I really didn't expect much from this game, but it's actually pretty good. Any game where you eat hamburgers and get killed by dynamite can't be all bad. Let's just restart that. So the button does nothing in this game. You just move up and down, left and right. The simplicity makes it good. As you might expect, like most Atari games, it starts off pretty slow and then picks up speed. At first, your hamburgers are only worth 50 points each. So don't do anything stupid in the beginning. Don't get blown up, because you need some extra guys. Because later in the game, it gets fast. This reminds me of something. I can't remember what though. Taz-tastic. Taz has a hearty appetite and likes a good mug of ale. The controls are pretty tricky. I'm playing with the Sega Genesis controller. You just move Taz up and down and gobble the food while avoiding the dynamite. Alright? And like Super Pac-Man, the food starts to change and becomes worth more points. Here we are at level 2. Taz is drinking beer. Probably root beer. Root beer's good though. Maybe it was beer, I just ran right into the dynamite. And after all this ice cream, Taz is going to have a heart attack. Woo! It's all fun and games in Taz until you eat a stick of dynamite and watch your intestines get blown all over the wall. It's actually not that graphic. I'm just weird. This game has suddenly turned into Tapper, and I approve. It's tricky because this has that great risk versus reward element that I like in a good arcade game. Do you play it safe? Or do you try to drink all the beer and avoid the dynamite? Don't drink a stick of dynamite. It's very bad for you. Like, I'm not a huge fan of fudge pops, so beyond just getting points, I don't see any reason to eat them. Well, now I'm screwed. Game plays pretty well with the Sega Genesis controller. Ooh, here we go. We're up to ice cream now, which is 200 points for a cone of ice cream. And you see there, I almost got trapped in between 2 sticks of dynamite. No, that's not what I was trying to do. Can you see how this is played? Does it look fun? This game is fun. Oh, there we go. I think these are fudge pops. They're actually not all that dissimilar from the shape of the dynamite, so be careful what you eat. You can play it safe and kind of hover in the middle. But then you don't get as many points. And the points are where you get your extra guys. Oh! I hit the button and he didn't move. There is a bit of strategy, I suppose, that you can apply to this game. Maybe just hovering in one spot and trying not to do that.
You don't want to go flying all over the screen. There we go, extra guy. Extra guy is good, extra Taz. Crazed wave. Now this is usually where I die quickly. Because it's crazy. No! Ah! Get to the next level! No! That's not what my thumb wanted to do. I don't think I'm blinking. This is gonna hurt my eyes. This game should have a warning for children on it. Please make sure that your children blink while playing Taz. Hey, turnips! It's like Dig Dug. Whoa! Whoa! How do turnips possibly give you more points than beer and ice cream? That just doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, so I'm basically just staring at the right side of the screen so that that one dynamite stick doesn't hit me. And then, kind of getting lucky occasionally. That's my strategy for this game. Just stare intensely at the right side of the screen and hope for the best. Are you doing the same? Are you following along with me at home? Second row down, top right. Just stare at it. Because the dynamite's coming from the right over there. So if you can just avoid the dynamite by going either up or down. Oh, whoa, see, up or down. You too can eat delicious vegetables. Oh wait, what do we just turned in? What are those, tomatoes now? 500 points for tomatoes. This is my high score in this game. I have really gotten into the Taz flow. Whoa. No! See, that's what happens when you lose composure. You die. Oh man, I got trapped in that one. Whoa, that was... Oh, man. Did I break 100? No, almost. Come on, do it. Do it. No! No, damn it. I pushed down right at that moment.
Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where today I'm reviewing Omega Race for the Atari 2600, a game that has quite possibly the most interesting Atari 2600 controller peripheral that I've ever seen. A little joystick adapter that fits over the joystick and is seated inside the stick stand for added effect. Start the game, which is like asteroids combined with instantaneous death and destruction. Omega Race. Omega Race was released to the arcades in 1981 from Midway. I believe it's a vector graphics machine, like asteroids, although I don't recall ever playing it until the Atari 2600 version, which is quite interesting. I've never seen a joystick peripheral like this for the Atari.
As it turns out, Omega Race is very difficult. I'm not good at this game yet. I feel like there's some strategy here I haven't figured out yet. It's always exciting to open a brand new Atari 2600 game from, 30 or 40 years ago. Here's Omega Race for Atari 2600. Free multi-function booster grip joystick adapter. Although not really free, since presumably it came with the game that you paid for. Omega Race, droid ships, vapor mines. It looks amazing. I can't believe nobody opened this. So thanks again to my friend Eric in Pasadena, California for sending this to the show. Here's my Sharp Suit 2000, which was sent by Tim in Illinois. And it's time to unbox, or starting with unwrapping, Omega Race. Using the power of smell-o-vision. Can you smell that? It smells like the 80s, which smells like victory. And for the first time, Omega Race is out of its wrapper and ready to be enjoyed here on Classic Game Room. I hope it's as good as it looks, because it looks pretty good for the Atari 2600. Cool packaging. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like this. Alright, slide everything out of here. Ooh. I love these CBS cartridges. They're simple, but they always look badass. Probably because they have RAM Plus, which is not to be trifled with. Omega Race. Here's the instruction manual. Full color. Wow, you don't even get that today. In fact, you don't really get any manuals today. And the joystick adapter. Let's see here. Can I open this without destroying the package? Here's a regular Atari 2600 joystick with the stick stand, no less, that Eric also sent to the show, and we'll put that on top. And now we've got a serious badass modified Atari 2600 joystick. What is the strategy for this game? I just keep crashing into things. It's fascinating to see a 2-button game on the 2600. One button fires and the other accelerates, but there is no brake button. It's very hard to slow down. You have to spin around and thrust in the other direction. More often than not, you just crash into things. Also, the enemies are extremely hard to hit. Oh yeah! That's what I call a lucky shot. Because it was lucky. And you can only have 2 shots on screen at one time. No rapid fire. Why is their aim better than mine? That seems unfair. Let's try this again. Let's try that again. Woo! Similar, but not too similar. Gosh, that music is almost familiar. This game is really cool because it's very unique for the 2600, and it is a lot of fun. It's a lot like Asteroids. Yeah! Rack 2 destroyed! That music cracks me up. But unlike Asteroids, you can't machine gun enemies, and despite the cool peripheral, you don't really have a lot of accuracy in this game. Yes! Rack 3 destroyed! Dun-dun-dun-dun. Ah! Doesn't fire fast enough. No! Here we have the Omega Race instruction manual for Atari 2600. And this has a great story on the inside. First thing it does is tell you how to hook up the controller, which is actually really cool. This is one of the best Atari 2600 accessories I've ever seen, and it allows you to play the single button Atari joystick with 2 buttons, fire and thrust. It does not come with the stick stand. That's sold separately. It does come with the booster grip though, which is super cool. Alright, anyway, check out the storyline here, which is very cool. I'll dramatically read this for you. The gauntlet is tossed to the Earthling. We, the leaders of the Omega star system, have spent countless eons perfecting our method of training our warriors to defend our star colonies. This method, you may call it Omega Race, has proven so successful that evildoers tremble at the mere thought of interfering with us. Don't shoot me, I'm your friend. Except I'm not. I'm here to kill all of you in the Omega Race. Sounds like quite a race. As a result, our lives have become rather mundane and boring. So now we search the galaxies for other forms of intelligent life, fast and tough enough to meet the challenge of our Omega Race. Having failed to locate such life, we're settling for you. We await you in the arena, the Omegans. Oh, and they signed it. Wow, they signed every manual. That's dedication. Yeah, look at that. Skills to pay the space bills. Or not. That was bad. Also, unlike asteroids, there's a big rectangle in the middle of the screen, and you can't fly off the left and emerge on the right. You cannot fire fast enough for this game. What Omega Race needs is a turbo fire. Whoa! Despite the game's difficulty, if you find one of these out in the wild, pick it up, because Omega Race is a great addition to your Atari 2600 collection. It's very cool. This game is hard. Omegan attack waves, command ships, death ships, droid ships. This is a fun game, but it's punishing. Thanks again to my friend Eric from Pasadena, California, for sending this to the show. I love the controller add-on. This is wonderful. I wish more games used this, although I'm sure that Omega Race was quite expensive back in the day. See how it works? It plugs into your Atari controller, plugs into the Omega Race controller, and that plugs into your Atari. Very cool. Omega Race! I'm not sure what the best strategy is. Shooting enemies from a distance seems to work well until they start transforming into those fast-moving TIE fighters that drop mines all over the place. If you shoot the circle things before they turn into Death Stars, they're not worth as many points, but if you get them, they don't transform and shoot at you. Yeah! Just for the record, that was luck. This game is impossible. Ciao! That's my high score for the day. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to beat that. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. Are you king of the mountain or king of failure? It's time to find out on Atari 2600 with Mountain King, which is an interesting game that makes for an interesting review. Mountain King. It's got RAM Plus. RAM Plus. The extra killer death bats. Watch out for those things. They're nasty. Mountain King from 1983 by CBS Electronics is not a game that you'll often hear about, but it's quite clever. Even though it doesn't look like much, this is one of these games where you have to play it along with your imagination. Graphically, it's not terribly exciting. And the sound can be painful as well, but the gameplay is quite fascinating. Let's take a look at Mountain King. This one has to get the award for the hardest game to film in a long time. It's actually not a bad game, it just doesn't look like much. And the bats are evil. Ah! Stick figure man! Do what you do best! Fall and collect things. Okay, so what do you do in this game? It's kind of hard to describe and difficult to pick up and play. It'll take some practice and repeat gameplay. Also, you'll hate bats after playing Mountain King. You'll hate them. You may love bats. You may be the guy working at the zoo in the bat exhibit who spent his whole life loving bats, caring for bats, proving to the world that bats are the greatest things ever. After playing Mountain King for 10 minutes, you'll hate bats. You're probably like, stick figure guy wearing a crown, what the hell is going on in this game? Basically, you've got to get that crown to the top of the mountain before the bats eat you. I just jumped over a bat. Woo! I should get some bonus points for that, but I don't, because I've got to get that crown to the top of the mountain, which is nearly impossible.
No! God, stupid bats! God, the bats ruin it every time! I hate these bats so much I now hate Batman. There it is, you see that? There's like this little flicker here, you probably can't see it, but it's there. If Stick Figure Man can jump up, there we go. Come on, alright. You shouldn't see it? It looks like a little dolphin, or a fish out of water. But it's not, it's magic fire. There we go. Oh no, stupid bats. I hate those bats in this game, let me tell you. Those bats suck. Okay, so here we take the magic fire thing and push down, and the face from whatever appears. Woo, we wear the crown and rock out to the music while running for our life. Hey, dodge those damn bats. They are murder. Make the jump. Oh, come on! I'm pretty sure this part of the game is just luck. There's no amount of skill that can avoid those bats. No, you mother... Family-friendly show. Alright, now that I have had my crown stolen by the bats for like the 50th time, I've still never actually made it to the top of the mountain. I will collect more of the Lucky Charms and hunt the flame of eternal whatever. I keep talking about the flame in this game. Like, I forget what it's called. I don't have the manual here. Like I keep wanting to say eternal flame, which just makes me think of like late 80s Susanna Hoffs from The Bangles, and that's a happy thing.
Ah yes, this game has nothing to do with the Bangles, but it does have like an 8-page story in the instruction manual. Deep inside a long-lost diamond mine is, those are diamonds, not Lucky Charms, is the secret temple chamber of a forgotten civilization. I don't know about you, but I like Lucky Charms more than diamonds.
It's right here. We have the eternal flame! Now I have that Bangles song stuck in my head. Like, I don't like the Bangles. Susanna Hoffs was nice, though.
There, a priceless golden crown sits high in a pedestal, vulnerable to plundering explorers seeking to control its power. Blah-biddy-blah, blah, blah, blah. Guarded by denizens of the mountain. Whoever has daring and courage sees the crown escape to the top of the mountain, becomes Mountain King. Okay, so you're playing as an intrepid explorer who just happens to look like Stick Figure Guy. And you have to collect enough diamonds, or Lucky Charms, to...
No! No, there's the top of the damn mountain! Ah!
Reveal the flame spirit.
Run! Avoid the bats! I mean, this is just luck. There's no skill here. Oh, no! No, you
you need the Eternal Flame to unlock the face from Zardoz and get the mountain crown, whatever. Okay, now you may have noticed the music. It's kind of hard to miss. The music is like your radar.
Now is that one time, the one time I could use a Jar Jar Binks action figure to just smash into oblivion.
No! That is impossible.
If I don't make it to the top, the next time I get that crown, something will happen. Are we still recording? Don't want to miss whatever it is that's going to happen.
Hello, there you are. Goodbye.
I have tried like 50 some times to get that stupid crown to the top of the mountain, and every single time I'm either eaten by bats or run out of time. And I've had it.
Actually, there's two different songs. This is the song that plays when you have the crown, and you are on a timer. You've only got a certain amount of time to get that crown to the top of the mountain, or else the music stops playing, and then you have to go and pick up more diamonds. The other music plays when you've collected enough diamonds to activate the Eternal Flame, but you've got to find it. And the music acts as your radar, so it gets louder the closer you get to the Eternal Flame. You can use your flashlight and spot this thing. You get that, you wear the crown, and then more often than not, you're eaten by bats. The look of extreme aggravation on my face is real. I tried countless times to get this crown to the top of the mountain and lost every time. So I'd like to thank Anthony from Flagstaff, Arizona for sending the game and some serious frustrations my way. Thank you, Anthony. You have to jump just right or you can't make it up to the next level, and then when you get close you see the little burning cauldron on top of the mountain, and then the bats fly in faster than you can react to them. Thanks, Anthony, thanks.
...1989 Susanna Hoff's bathing suit.
These pictures should match.
Oh. Now I feel much better.
This game is impossible. Yep, it really is. Also, there's a spider lurking at the bottom waiting to eat you.
This is it. This game has one more chance to redeem itself. Push down, climb his stupid face, wear the crown, and run!
There's treasure chests, but they're not really all that important because the bats always eat you. You don't need treasure when you're being eaten by bats. I'll never make it to the top of the mountain and become king, ever! Thanks, Anthony.
Did it for the first time!
I'm pleased. It's been a good day. It's like a manic Monday, except Tuesday. I feel like half the fun of playing any Atari 2600 game is the struggle to get it working in the first place. It's worked yesterday. Oh, there we go. That was fairly anticlimactic. It only took 3 tries. I always like that one screen where it just gives you like 1 or 2 lines. Welcome to the Classic Game Room review of one of the greatest Atari 2600 driving games of all time. From Activision, this is Grand Prix from 1982. Let's drive right and crash into things. Engage. Love this game. Can't believe it's taken this long to review it, but... I've reviewed so many games with Grand Prix in the title over the years for a variety of game systems, but never Grand Prix for the Atari 2600, one of the Activision classics, and a very well-made game, as you can see. This looks and plays great on the Atari 2600. It's a lot like Skyjinx or Turbo, if you took Turbo and turned it on its side. Picked it up for a whopping $1 at a local Comic-Con. And frankly, that's a bargain. It's a good game. Hey, 52.65. This is kind of like Skyjinx with cars. You don't shoot things with lasers, you don't bomb anyone, you don't run anyone over, or back over anyone, or crush them, or light anything on fire. You just drive quickly and try to get a good time in each of the races. It would benefit from backing over people. According to the instruction manual I found online, this is Brands Hatch. And there is, in fact, a bridge in the middle of the race. Or a tunnel, depending on how you look at it. Or just two big blue rectangles. This is Atari, after all. Whoa, whoa! It's that guy's fault. Is anyone else admiring the bushes on the side of the road? They're very nice. The shrubbery. Ow! Brands Hatch does a nice job with their shrubbery. You gotta give them credit for that. The secret to getting a good time in Grand Prix is ninja-like skills combined with memorization, since the cars are always more or less in the same place on each track. Whoa, whoa, potholes! Yes, 40.9! 40.90 in Grand Prix. There's 4 tracks to choose from in this game: Watkins Glen, Brands Hatch, Le Mans, and Monaco, although none of the tracks have any turns. The difference is the length of the track and the bridge in the middle. Or bridges, depending on the track. Of course, I'm playing with the Sega Genesis controller, like usual, for that authentic Grand Prix racing action. 40.27! That is less than 40.9. I had to think about that for a moment. Wasn't sure if it was 40.09, but no, it was 40.90. So 40.27 is the record. Let's go again. This game is fun. I like this. It's just simple, and it's well made. Activision was very good at that. No! 43.36! That's a time for people who suck. I don't suck much. Let's beat 40.27. Drive faster! Such speed, it's like I'm in Tron. Woo! Ouch. I may have to use the brakes to beat my high score. I hate to admit it. It makes me sad whenever I use brakes. See, the dog's upset too. She agrees. Brakes are for pussies. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the fastest time of all time at Brands Hatch. Ever. Nope, never mind. This is gonna be it. This will be the fastest time of all time at Brands Hatch. Ever. Nobody will have ever beat this, and thankfully I'm recording it. The internet will know that I am the fastest Atari 2600 Grand Prix driver ever! No! That actually wasn't half bad. No! 37.98! Woo! Victory is mine! Thanks to the NES Advantage, which is not plugged into the Atari, but happens to be sitting next to it. I just love the Advantage so much, I just keep it everywhere I go. Let's play again. I'm gonna wear it like a tie. There we go. Let's go!
I'm ruining it!
No, you're not. You're enhancing it.
Oh. Is this the new Yokai Watch game?
I seriously doubt it.
When am I going to get a new Yokai Watch game?
Never. It was a very bad crashing sound. Flavor Flav has nothing on me. Who needs a clock when you have an NES Advantage? You know what time it is? It's time to play more Atari. Ow! I used my brakes successfully. That doesn't happen very often. Whoa! These cars all look like surfboards with wheels. Wonder if that was intended. God, no, I'm already over 37. Woo, woo. Whoa! The cube has been gleamed. Never mind, I take that back. The cube has most definitely not been gleamed.
Grand Prix is fun. If you like these old school driving games, this one is cheap, it's easy to find. Grand Prix is highly recommended for your Atari 2600.
I don't know what's in style, but if it's not this, I don't care. It's good luck. It's surprisingly comfortable, too. Plus, whenever I need to play Nintendo, I have auto fire and slow motion right around my neck. Ow! It does not work with Grand Prix, however.